This is Cerebral Cinema. Movies of the mind.
Cerebral Cinema and the WON Radio Network present to you Superwoman. Yes, Superwoman, the dynamic crime fighter. Superwoman, the champion of justice. Superwoman, who in truth is mild-mannered Chicago news reporter Emily Nesbacher.
Now, Del Monte Foods brings you a world of adventure with Rocky Jordan.
Effendi, sir, this is the Cafe Tambourine.
Yeah, that's right. What's the trouble?
I am Jeeba, and I must see the man Youngston.
Youngston?
The man Youngston, who is an American.
I never heard of him.
The man Youngston, who is an American and wears a white suit and carries a briefcase.
Nobody like that's been in here, Jeeba.
A moment, sir. I will search the tambourine.
Oh, no, you won't. I said he's not here, Jeeba. Try someplace else.
As I thought, you lie. You lied to me.
That's enough, Buster. Out you go. Come on, run along.
No, I must find him. The man Youngston, the American who wear a white suit and carry a briefcase.
Go on, get moving.
You do not know, but you meddle with life, sir. You know. I mean, you meddle with death.
Del Monte, the brand you trust for flavor in so many good foods. Yes, Del Monte, the best-liked brand of canned fruits and vegetables in the whole wide world, takes you now to the Cafe Tambourine in Cairo, gateway to the ancient East, where modern adventure and intrigue unfold against a backdrop of antiquity. Tonight's Rocky Jordan story, Pharaoh's Formula.
My tambourine had its usual smattering of customers for a hot Saturday afternoon. Tourists watching natives, natives watching tourists. There was a brief flurry when the little fellow Jeeba made a disturbance about finding somebody named Youngston. After I got him out, things settled down. Then somebody else breezed in. The typical American businessman. Double-breasted white suit, bulky briefcase.
Ah, there you are.
He didn't have to give his name.
Youngston, Mr. Jordan. Willard B. Youngston.
Oh, somebody's looking for you, Mr. Youngston.
Just call me Willie. All my friends do. What'd you say?
A native guy named Jeeba.
Oh, well, I'm not hard to find. Chicago's my home, Jordan, not far from your old haunts around St. Louis.
Somebody's been briefing you.
Yeah, I understand you haven't been back there in a long time.
What else do you know?
Oh, quite a lot about you, Jordan. You'll see, I know a lot about you. Where can we talk?
Won't this table do?
Sure, why not? Say it's a hot afternoon.
What's your business, Mr. Willie?
Yeah, that's better. Oh, oil, cotton, anything that might net me a small fortune.
And what else?
Well, the fact is I've been traveling till I came to Egypt 3 months ago and ran into Prof. Gaines. Studied under him back home, a small college in Ohio. You've never heard of it.
No, naturally.
He got me interested in archaeology, Egyptian history, and so on. So I'll be brief, Jordan. I've got a sensational business offer for you.
Well, that figures. Why me?
I need a man who's wise to Cairo and who's willing to take slight risks and wants to make a killing. I've done a lot of research on you, Jordan. You're my man.
Get to the point, Willie.
That's what I like. Now, I was out working near a desert excavation with the old Prof not long ago and found an ancient stone tablet covered with writing, hieroglyphics, you know.
Yeah.
Prof Gaines translated for me, and what do you think it was?
I can't wait.
A formula for making beer. Beer, Jordan, from an Egyptian recipe 3,000 years old.
Oh, now, look, Willie.
And that's not all, Jordan. I tried it out. I made some, and it was good. So I rented a warehouse, got some equipment, and last week began producing the first batches. Oh, I tell you, it's great, Jordan. In America, it'll be a sensation.
I'll bet.
Here. I brought along the sample for you to try.
Oh, no, thanks. I just had lunch.
Oh, not even a taste? Well, can't let it go to waste. Oh, it's mighty good, Jordan. Well, there you are, there. Now, I want you to be my Egyptian representative.
That's all you want.
You handle distribution, put your cafe name behind it, and we'll make a mint of money.
No, sorry, Willie, I'm not interested.
What? Well, look, I'm handing it to you on a silver platter.
Save your breath. It's not for me. Find somebody else.
Well, I don't get you, Jordan. I don't get you at all.
Lots of people don't.
Well, very well, very well. Forget it then. But when you found out your mistake, Jordan, don't come begging to me.
He left the bottle on the table and walked out. I watched him from the door as he marched off down the street. Now, this one beat anything yet. His pitch had sounded as phony as a snowstorm in the Sahara, and I wondered what came with it.
Effendi Jordan, sir.
Now the excited boy Jeeba was back.
Effendi, about the man Youngston, the American who wears a white suit.
Yeah, and carries a briefcase, Jeeba. He just left.
So, he was here, as I knew. He was here, and now he's gone. It is too late.
Too late for what?
Which way, sir? This time I warn you not to lie.
He turned onto the Shariaguma. Go catch him.
The Shariaguma heard fighting.
Jeeba scooted in the direction I'd pointed, turned the corner, and was out of sight. Well, that had them both out of my hair. I stood there on the sidewalk, got a little sun, and then turned to go back inside. That's when the sound came. The shots were from Jeeba's direction, and I went that way fast. I swung onto the Shariaguma in time to see others running toward an alley entrance. Then I saw the figure crumple there. Not that of Willie Youngston, but Jeeba himself. And Willie wasn't anywhere around. Jeeba wasn't any more than alive, so I just made sure an ambulance had been called. Then I went back to the tambourine. But when Sam Sabaya called me an hour later to come to headquarters, I knew I wasn't done with it.
Jordan, a man was found shot near your cafe this afternoon. Did you know of this?
Well, I was in the crowd that saw him. Why?
I've just been to the hospital where he was taken. That is why I called you.
Was he able to talk?
Only a few words. A mention of your cafe tambourine, something about being too late, and the name Youngston, I believe.
Yeah, Willard B. His friends call him Willie. What else?
Nothing more. He died a short time later.
Oh, I see.
Now, Jordan, let us begin with this Willard B. Youngston.
Well, he was at my place this afternoon with the usual pitch. Oh, you wouldn't believe it.
Tell me anyway, Jordan.
He had a deal for making beer from a formula off an Egyptian tablet he dug up. It's about 3,000 years old. All right, Sam, I said you wouldn't believe it.
Let us get on to the man who was killed.
Oh, Jeeba was his name. He came to the tambourine looking for Willie. After he left, and Jeeba left too, to find Willie. That's all I knew till I heard the shots.
Yeah. In any event, Jeeba surely found Mr. Youngston. We will also find him.
Well, happy hunting, Sam.
Jordan, do not take this lightly. The killer obviously intends to include you in his plans, whatever they might be.
Don't worry. Willie hasn't found a sucker. Not this time. Well, a screwy beer formula's one thing, murder's another. And I wanted to know where I fit. So I went looking for Willie Youngston to get an answer. I checked a few hotels without any luck, then turned my attention to the Professor Gaines Willie had mentioned. A phone book gave his address on a Delta road leading north from Cairo. I drove there shortly after dark. It turned out to be a farm, 40 acres or so, with a small house behind a courtyard. A tall, burly fellow opened the door.
You lost, mister?
No, not if Professor Gaines lives here.
Yeah, he does. Come on in.
Thanks.
Who is it, Ray? This man wants to see you about something, Professor.
Jordan's the name, Professor.
Oh, of course. Come in, come in. This is Ray Taylor, my overseer at the farm, Mr. Jordan.
Hiya, Taylor.
I'm all right. Professor, if you want me, I'll be out at the field house.
Very well, Ray. Good night. Well, Mr. Jordan, how's the cafe business?
So you and Willie both know about me?
Yes. Willie has been giving you a lot of thought. He said he was going to talk with you today.
Yeah, Willie's got some great ideas.
Yes. Yes, his project does seem a bit odd, shall we say, but it's providing him with some fun in life. You coming in with us?
No, that's not why I'm here. Do you know where Willie is?
Why, no, not at the moment. Why do you ask?
Maybe you haven't heard. A native boy was trying hard to find Willie this afternoon.
What about, Mr. Jordan?
He didn't say. But the boy was found shot near my tambourine a little later. Willie hasn't been seen since.
But surely you don't connect Willie with such a thing.
I don't know. Professor, what's the real truth about this formula he's got?
But didn't he tell you? We found it in a tablet dug up at an excavation near Bell Base. You surprised?
What, a recipe for beer?
Oh, that's not uncommon. The beverage is mentioned on countless relics found in this country. In fact, it was a national drink in the imperial Egypt of the Pharaoh, attributed to Isis, the goddess of nature. Fascinating subject.
You're sure that's all Willie's got in mind, Professor?
Of course.
He has a brewery started, and nothing will dissuade him. In fact, he's making me the president.
Won't that interfere with your other work?
Archaeology? It's nothing but a hobby now. I'm semi-retired. I farm my cotton and barley, but Ray handles the heavy work.
You wouldn't have any idea why the native wanted Willie.
Certainly not, Mr. Jordan. There must be some mistake.
Well, let me know if Willie turns up, will you?
Of course. I'm sorry you're not interested in Willie's offer. Oh, who knows? With his initiative, he might surprise us all.
Yeah, he might at that. I told the professor goodbye and went out. I walked across the court to my car parked outside, wondering if I'd find out anything at all except a lot of worthless history. Just as I reached the gate, footsteps came hurrying from behind. I turned and saw the figure of a young woman, and as she came closer, I knew she was American, round-faced and beautiful.
Mr. Jordan, I had to see you.
Where'd you come from, lady?
I was in the house and heard you talking. I'm Helen Gaines.
Oh, the professor's daughter?
No, his wife. Mr. Jordan, I'm terribly frightened for my husband. I know his life is in danger.
Danger? From what, Helen?
I'm not sure. But ever since Willard Youngston came to Egypt 3 months ago, strange things have been happening.
Why don't you tell the police?
But what can I tell them? I don't know what it is. Please, Mr. Jordan, I have no right to ask you, but...
What do you want me to do?
Just find Youngston and make him stay out of our lives.
Well, if I find him, the police will do the rest.
Thank you.
Oh, wait a minute, Ellen. I'm not promising. Now, will you tell me a few things?
Mr. Jordan, the native who was killed today...
Yes?
Was his name Jeba?
That's right.
Oh, I thought so.
Who was he, Helen? What do you know about him?
Jeba was a servant here on my husband's farm. Oh, Mr. Jordan, please be careful. Go quickly.
Jeba worked here? Why would he be killed?
I don't know.
Helen! Her anxiety seemed real enough, but how does a guy know for sure? She was halfway to the house running, and I let her go. I went on to my car and drove back into Cairo and to the Tambourine. When I got there, I saw the help had already closed up and gone. I unlocked the alley door just in time to hear the sound coming from the cellar below, like a lot of breaking of bottles. Hey, who's down there? Come out of there! Whoever it was had a flashlight, and I made the mistake of not putting on the cellar lights. The flashlight went off, and it was pitch black. I met him at the foot of the steps, head on. We both went down scrambling. I made a grab for his throat and held till the flashlight caught me behind the ear. It loosened my hold. He twisted away and found the steps fast. Before I could follow, he was out of the alley door and gone. I turned on the lights and looked around. Not one of the full bottles had been touched, only the empties scattered over the cellar floor. It was weird, and it didn't make sense. And all I was sure of was that Willie had come back. Hello, Tambourine.
Sabaya speaking, Jordan.
Yes, Sam.
I called to tell you that you can now forget about Willoughby Youngston.
Oh, think again, Sam.
I said forget him, Jordan. Youngston, at this moment, is in jail, booked on suspicion of murder.
Del Monte Foods is presenting tonight's adventure with Rocky Jordan.
Here in the West, it's every man to his own barbecue, whether it's the patio fireplace or the kitchen broiler. And what hot vegetable goes just great with barbecued hot dogs, hamburgers, or steaks? Why, that He-Man favorite, Del Monte Golden Whole Kernel Corn.
Del Monte is right, Larry. That's the brand I count on to give my men folks the kind of sweet, tender corn they like.
Yes, more and more women are finding that Del Monte is the sweetest, tenderest corn their money can buy. Del Monte's idea is to raise plump, bright corn kernels with a higher natural sugar content and very, very thin skins besides for special tenderness. Compare Del Monte Golden Whole Kernel Corn with any other brand, not only for sweetness and tenderness, but for quality, dependability, and rich, hearty flavor, too. I think you'll say no other corn comes up to it.
Don't worry, Larry. When we women find a thrifty vegetable like canned corn with everything Del Monte corn offers, we know when we're well off.
Here's grand summer corn eating that's a good value in every sense of the word, friends. Enjoy Del Monte vacuum-packed golden whole kernel corn soon and often.
And now we take you back to Cairo and tonight's Rocky Jordan story, Pharaoh's Formula.
I sat mulling over what Sabaya had just told me on the phone. With Willie Youngston in jail, he couldn't have been the one I just scuffled with in the cellar. But an empty bottle had an answer, like the one Willie had opened at a tambourine table the afternoon before. It was an off-size type that you wouldn't save to return, so it wouldn't be with the others in the cellar. I found it in a wastebasket out front, empty now. Held up to the light, it showed a white chalkiness inside. I put it in my pocket, and 10 minutes later, I was at the door of my friend, Dr. Wang Yin, a chemist.
Who honors the home of Wang Yin at this hour?
Sorry to wake you like this, Dr. Wang Yin.
Oh, Mr. Jordan, my humble house is yours. You will enter.
Thanks. Wondering if you could analyze what's on the inside of this bottle.
It is possible, if you will return in the morning.
Well, I've got to know right away. How long will it take?
Oh, 1 hour, perhaps? You will wait then?
Oh, I'll be back in 1 hour. Well, that gave me time for another call down at police headquarters. Sam was just leaving, and it took some big arguing, but he finally led me back to Willie Youngston's cell and left us there alone. Willie sat slumped in a corner, pale and shaky.
Jordan, what's going on around here anyhow?
That's a good question, Willie. You don't look so good.
Good. I feel awful.
Why did you run away from the shooting?
Shooting? I don't know anything about a shooting. I don't remember anything.
Oh, sure you don't. You just blacked out. It's all like a dream.
That's it, exactly. That's it. I don't remember a thing.
Uh-huh. You never get a jury to believe that.
But I'm telling you the truth, Jordan. I don't know what you, Sabaya, or anybody else is talking about. Now, how could I?
Look, Jeeba was hunting for you. He followed right after you, and then he was killed. You couldn't help but know.
I got dizzy, I tell you, dizzy. Things started whirling around. So last I knew till I woke up here in jail.
When did you say this happened?
Right after I left your tambourine. I don't know what hit me. Believe me, Jordan, I don't.
Maybe I do believe you.
Oh, that's more like it. What can I do, Jordan? What can I do?
Nothing here, Willie. You leave that to me. I didn't wait to tell Willie what I had in mind. The hour was almost up, so I hurried back to the Chinese chemist's house. A very worried Dr. Wang Yin met me at the door.
Mr. Jordan, I am so very sorry. It happened right after you left.
What happened, Wang Yin?
I took the bottle into my laboratory to test the contents as you asked.
Yeah, go on.
I had just bent over my work when the lights went out. Someone had come in. I could not see who it was. I started for the door.
The bottle's gone?
Yes. And when I finally turned the lights back on, I saw it had been taken. I tried to follow, but it was no use.
Well, don't worry.
Mr. Jordan, my failing brings dishonor to this humble person.
Oh, no, Dr. Wang Yin. You got an idea where the bottle went and why. Now, that sent me racing across Cairo through dark, deserted streets and then out north along the Delta Road leading to Professor Gaines' farm. As I swung into the driveway, I braked up just in time to miss the figure, wild-eyed and running blindly. Helen!
Mr. Jordan, I'm so glad you came. I tried to call you.
Why, Helen?
Come on, there was a terrible fight between my husband and his overseer, Ray Taylor.
Where are they?
My husband's back in the house. He's hurt, Rocky.
And what about Taylor?
Well, I don't know where he is. Please hurry.
Helen?
Mr. Jordan's here, darling.
Oh, Mr. Jordan, it is good of you to come.
Hey, look, Professor, you shouldn't be sitting up. You gotta lie down in the cot here. Here, I'll help you.
Yeah. Thank you. Oh, I'm afraid I'm not much of a fighter anymore.
A little water will help.
All day.
Now, what's all this between you and Ray Taylor?
I found him out, Mr. Jordan.
He's been cheating at the books, robbing me of the proceeds to my farm. I confronted him with what I knew. He was furious and beat me.
Here's the water.
Thank you, my dear. Oh, I feel much better already.
Professor, what happened to Taylor after the fight?
He fled. I don't know where.
First thing's to tell the police. I'll do that right away.
Mr. Jordan, wait.
Don't be afraid for me, my dear. Ray won't come back. He doesn't dare.
Oh, he's right, Helen. The professor will be all right. Just let him try to get some sleep. Her worried eyes followed me as I went out. I backed my car out onto the road, and then I parked it and circled back around the house till I found a well-beaten path leading through a cotton field. It was a moonless night with a dark that comes just before morning. I noticed the extra thick growth around me, then a building loomed ahead that figured to be the field house. I went in. Something scooted across the floor, and then it was quiet. I lit a match. There on the floor was Ray Taylor, a gun clutched tightly in his hand. He was dead. Now things started adding up fast, and they didn't seem screwy anymore. I moved out into the cotton field, and some looking around told me now why it grew so thickly. Beneath the cotton, I found something else growing. I pulled one up, put it in my pocket, and turned back to the house. A stumble on the path ahead started me running.
Rocky,
Ellen,
please.
what are you doing out here?
My husband fell asleep. I saw you come back. I had to know why.
I think you do know. I think you know who's in the shack back there, too.
Yes, I know, but listen, Rocky.
All right, now tell me just exactly what did happen out here tonight.
I heard a fight going on, and a little after that, a shot. I ran out to the field house and saw Ray Taylor there. He was dead.
All fixed up to look like suicide, huh? Were you in on the deal with Taylor to rob your husband?
No, you have no right to say that. You're wrong, Rocky.
You seemed real anxious for me to help you get Willie Youngston out of the way. Want to explain that, too?
I told you I wasn't sure. I suspected many things, but I wasn't sure. I was only trying to protect my husband.
Oh, sure. I knew that was coming.
You don't believe anything I say, do you?
No, not yet. Let's talk about this cotton field now. A cover crop for something else. Poppies. They grow fields of poppies for only one reason, Helen. Narcotics.
I knew that. But how could I help but know?
Yes, and you probably know a lot of other things, too. Now we'll find out something else.
What, Rocky? Where?
An old warehouse, maybe. Recently reconverted into a brewery. Just to make sure, you're coming along, too.
In just a moment, Rocky Jordan returns to conclude tonight's story. Here now is Larry Thor.
Friends, let's talk pineapple. That unusual, delicious style of pineapple called Del Monte Pineapple Chunks. Have you tried these generous, tender, juicy wedges of tropic pineapple? Now you can buy them all over the West. And believe me, they are something to buy and to eat. Beautiful bite-sized pieces cut from double-thick slices of plump, golden pineapple. Pineapple ripened in the tropic sun till it's well-nigh bursting with juice and flavor. These luscious chunks come about 1 inch wide and 1 inch long, so thick that somehow it seems more like eating pineapple right on the plantation than any other style. You can toss chunks right into a salad, serve them broiled to a turn with ham or chops, or heap them high and sunny in the center of your favorite gelatin ring. But first, try them plain for breakfast or refreshing dessert, so you taste the full measure of that same superb, full-ripe flavor you find in all 5 styles of Del Monte pineapple. Remember, I'm talking about chunks. Del Monte Pineapple Chunks. Ask your grocer tomorrow.
Back now to Rocky Jordan for the conclusion of tonight's story.
We went back to the field house. I tried Ray Taylor's pockets till I found a bunch of keys. Then I took Helen to my car at the road and had her show me the way to a big rambling old building down near the Nile. We got in one of the back doors and went on into the big warehouse. couple of dim lights helped us see we were on a balcony platform with some doors leading off, crates and bottles stacked along the wall. Over a railing below were open beer vats, all full.
I don't know what you think you'll find here, Rocky.
Oh, it'll take some looking, Helen. But not in the bottles out here.
The bottle?
In one of the rooms along here, maybe. Yeah. We'll start with these.
George, turn around.
Darling, what are you doing here?
Now come out of there. Both of you. No, keep away from me, Helen. I have a gun.
But, darling, you're not well.
He's not really hurt, Helen. I should have seen that.
I don't understand.
Don't you, Helen? But surely Mr. Jordan has told you.
No, but I'll do it now, Professor. Narcotics is the big project. Youngston's beer thing's only a front.
But an excellent means of transporting narcotics out of the country. An occasional bottle in the cases here and there. Not likely to be detected.
It's been done before.
Darling, please don't say any more.
Keep quiet, Helen. What difference does it make now?
I'll bet Willie didn't know a thing about what was going on. The formula was all a plant.
Naturally. When the stupid man came along, we were delighted. Ray Taylor and I.
So that's the way it was.
Unfortunately, Ray committed a grievous error when he let Willie get a hold of the wrong bottle.
Yeah, one filled with an opium solution that Willie brought to my cafe. The sip he took really did knock him out. And you sent your native boy Jeeba to get it back, huh?
Or else. And when Jeeba failed, Ray overplayed his hand and shot him. I didn't want that. So Ray and I had it out.
And Ray lost.
Oh, darling, there's still time to get out of it. No one has to know anything.
No, Helen. It's far too late. I'm sorry you and Mr. Jordan became so inquisitive. So terribly sorry.
No.
Let Helen go again. She's been covering for you all along. She'll keep it up.
I will. I swear I will.
How can I be sure? I wish there were another way.
Helen started to run, and I whirled back as Gaines leveled the gun. My swing deflected his aim, but he held on to it as I slammed him to the wall. The gun flew over his head, and we both went for it and got it together. For a second, he had it and darted away, but I stayed with him. My shoulder drove him to the railing. He dropped the gun. His fingers clawed at my sleeve and then let go. I looked over the splintered railing in time to see him come to the surface, splashing around in a vat of unripe beer.
Well, Jordan, I've been talking with Mr. Youngston.
You're letting Willie go, Sam?
Yes, of course. He's quite innocent.
Yeah, innocent of everything but falling for the phony beer gag.
You talk of the formula for the drink of the Pharaoh 3,000 years ago?
Anybody'd know there's no such thing.
But there is, Jordan. The formula has long been known. Look in almost any encyclopedia under B for beer.
I'll do that sometime.
As for the girl, Helen, regrettable.
Well, she wasn't in on it. You'll get that out of Professor Gaines.
Well, there you are. Just the boys I wanted to see.
Hello, Willie.
Mr. Youngster, you are free to go unless there is something more.
Oh, no, don't apologize, Captain. Nothing's harmed except one vat of beer. I've still got the formula, the warehouse, the equipment, all set to go.
Sam.
But you know, I've been thinking, this project's too big for one man. Like everything great should be shared with my friends. So I'm letting you both in.
Jordan...
Yes, sir, I'm offering you two the first block of stock. $10 a share right on the ground floor.
Sam.
Yes, Jordan, let us go out for coffee.
What? Coffee?
For superb flavor, for dependable quality always, enjoy Del Monte fruits and vegetables. Remember, buy wisely. Buy for flavor. Buy Del Monte, the brand you trust for flavor in so many good foods.
Rocky Jordan, written tonight by Gomer Cool and Larry Roman, from a story by William Frug, stars Jack Moyles in the title role with Jay Novello as Sam Sabaya, and is produced and directed by Cliff Howell, with original music composed and conducted by Richard Arant. Remember, you have a date next week at the Cafe Tambourine, run by Rocky Jordan. Same time, same station. And the story is Shakedown.
What's the perfect refresher for these thirsty June days? Long, tall, sparkling cold glasses of Del Monte pineapple juice. That grand golden drink for the whole family. Buy Del Monte pineapple juice tomorrow. Enjoy it next time you're thirsty.
John Jacobs speaking. Rocky Jordan is presented over CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Cerebral Cinema hopes you have enjoyed this movie of the mind.